I am the Red Cyclone! Ah!
Release the hostages now!
Sure. All right, we are live. Welcome to another episode of the It Gets Better I Swear podcast. We have a full crew. Well, we're missing the Jabstar, wherever he be. I'm your host, Louis Beans. I'm here with the Commander.
Oh, I'm that pretty face you see there. Look at that. Such a nice smiley face. Little rosy cheeks filled with sandwiches.
Yeah, with happiness and sandwiches.
I'm so happy when he has a sandwich.
And we have the Merc with the mic.
What's up?
What's up? Chilling. We just
coming off the Wrestling Babble podcast. We had a good discussion about kayfabe and all. Definitely check that out.
If you don't know what the kayfabing is, I recommend you just Google that word.
Yeah, it's a carny term.
Well, true.
Yeah, it originally is originally from a carny. It's a carny term. It's kayfabe. It's like acting the characters, like the muscle man and the bearded lady had to always act the characters and shit.
Mm-hmm. You see him at the deli. Yo, bearded lady, what's good? Well, you ain't got your beard. How do I know who you are without your beard?
Exactly.
It's hot. It's too hot for all that hair. That's what
you're saying. Like, goddamn smart marks. All right, so Merc, I know you got a bunch of stuff.
Man,
I want to start off with just a few things here and there. My PSA to my fellow gamers: do not buy the Switch version of Doom. Just to protest Bethesda for being such dumb assholes. They're trying to get you to sign up for their, I guess it's gonna be a premium service. Bethesda Play or something to that effect. They want you to, another thing, you gotta put your email in, you gotta sign up for, so you won't get this annoying ass message, which will probably be the picture for the episode, of Doom, a game from like early 90s.
Yeah,
it's pathetic, but it has a message in it that says, oh, your game will not play, you need it until you have an internet connection. What? That game this is an actual epidemic in video games now, and it seems like Commander, you asked me like why does everybody seem to be going to have a model for a premium service, not just every fucking streaming network out there, but now every major AAA video game publisher seems to want one as well. If Capcom, if you do it, listen, we gonna fight you. Yes, I will jump you, and I will your ass. Like,
but you would think Capcom has learned its lesson, but the truth of the matter is,
you never know.
Someone has. But when the suits start seeing the other guys doing it, and their investments teams are doing that, then the money starts talking from the top down, even though everybody's saying we shouldn't do this. We just got back in good graces. Mm-hmm. We're doing just the way we are. If we do this, you're gonna do it anyway, and then you'll set back.
But you gotta also realize the companies that are doing it are American based or European based.
Yeah, unfortunately,
there's no Japanese company that's doing it right now.
It's the most usual suspects. EA leading the charge with their.
Well, EA had theirs for a long time. It's not nothing new.
No, that's not the new part. Well, yes and no. Yes, you're right. It's been out for a while. The new part, though, it's now being allowed onto gaming platforms. Before it was strictly PC only.
No, now, it's been on Xbox for a good 5 years.
But it was no. Origin was not on.
But they have EA Access. EA Access has been on Xbox for quite some time. Like,
that's the difference. Origin is like the client.
Yeah.
And that's not on console. That's PC. That's strictly PC. There is no EA Origin on console.
Yeah.
But now they're getting super heavy duty with their services on console now. You have to pay. Yeah. If you pay for Xbox Live, if you pay for PSN, I guess presumably what do you call Nintendo service? Just Nintendo Online?
Nintendo Online, yeah.
Why does anybody think it's a good idea to give you an additional charge when, if you are using these services already,
yeah,
you are already paying for streaming services, as in Netflix, as in maybe you're paying for the premium versions of like Hulu or maybe an Amazon or anything that gets you an app, but you still have a premium version. Why is that? I just want to know, why did I think that's a smart idea? But the real big problem is that more people will follow. Ubisoft is following in their footsteps, and they're gonna change. I guess they're gonna have a Uplay premium. Bethesda's got their thing, and that's causing issues on Nintendo with just why? That doesn't make sense. The game came out in the 90s. How dare you put that in there? How do you even have DRM on a $5 game? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Cut it out. But that's we want all the pennies from the sales. Yeah, that's every last one. Jesus. But anyway, like, what do you guys think about this? Like, we have the usual suspects right now, but this seems like it's going to open up the floodgates for everybody else, and for the next generation of consoles, it's probably going to start like this.
So I have experience using some of those streaming servers. I had EA access for a little bit, and then right now I still have the Xbox Game Pass, even though I haven't even touched my Xbox in like almost 6 months or so. But if they go in the route what Microsoft is doing, as in they're giving you the brand new content with the pass, then that I'm cool with that, because you're getting I'm not gonna buy Gears of War 5. No, I'm just gonna play it on the pass. So that if they do stuff like that, then I'm all 100% for it. But if they do like EA Access and you only get like 5% off on the brand new game, then I don't give a fuck about it.
So what I'm seeing a lot of them doing, specifically not EA, specifically Ubi, is they're promising to have like a grip of the library accessible at all times. It's obviously the big first party, the big, because they are a third party studio, but for them it's quote unquote first because it's their stuff. Yeah. So it's like, put it in that perspective. You will get your Assassin's Creeds of each and every flavor. On that service. You will get your what's the other stuff? Is it Wildlands? Yeah, like all those, and the Clancy stuff. That's the main line for them. The Division, like
Splinter Cell.
Yes, everything they really have the line, the license for, that's coming out of them year after year after year, is going to be highlighted. So other things, I don't know if it's going to be highlighted. Like, I'm trying to think of the lower tier Ubi properties. I don't know.
For Honor, Just Dance is one of their mega ones, but Just Dance would probably be on there.
I would think For Honor maybe would be considered high tier, because that's this generation came out this generation. There was no For Honor on the previous generation.
Raving Rabbits.
But then they were stable. I didn't want to mention them, but the Rabbit series, you're right. The Rabbit series might be a thing that's like not as highlighted.
The old Rayman games.
Rayman,
yeah, because I know the tide has turned. Certain things are more popular than others now. So what used to be the top is now somewhere in the middle. I understand that, but it's just like, to you, does that warrant another additional fee of $10 a month to play these games that you may not even have played anyway? Because again, I understand that they want to give you a value, right? But if you were never really going to play that many Ubisoft games at the end of the day or the end of the year, how much money will you have saved?
Honestly, I think it's depending on your style and what you like too. Like, most of the games you buy are going to be like Ubisoft. Like, say for instance, you're a big fan of Assassin's Creed. Most likely you probably play Watch Dogs. Most likely you probably play Ghost Recon, things like that. And they're giving you all that content for one price. And like, say for instance, you got a brand new system. You just bought an Xbox and you want something to play, but you want to pay $60 for a game. You could go the cheap route and buy one of these streaming services, and you'll have about a good couple hundred games to play. And that's the thing, that it could be an easy selling point too, because then I don't have to own anything. I could just digitalize everything and have space in my house for other stuff.
Right. So there's a space for the non-collector, the non-person who's super deep in the games. They just want to play the thing that's popular now that their friends are playing and move on. This thing inherently does have value. It does make a sense, but it's for such a specific part of the community. Yeah. As opposed to what gamers really want. You know, I don't.
Yeah,
It reminds me of that. Go ahead.
No, I was saying like the things that gamers really want would be like Merc said, discounts. You know, when do you get deals? When the things that like, because some things you are going to want to own, and it's. Do you want to know, is this where they're going to get you?
Yeah,
because they got to get the money somehow. They can't just. Or maybe do you think this is just the way it's going to be?
I think it's going that route. Like again, if I say right now, the one that has it pretty good right now is Microsoft.
Yeah. But see, they're so smart because they're partnered up with so many people.
But it's also the fact that they're giving you their newest content part of that pass. So you have that pass, you can play their newest games.
Yeah, but I would argue this has been the weakest bunch of first party anything from Microsoft.
Yeah,
right.
But then again, it's still like it still could be easily a selling point. Like, oh, I could get Gears of War for $9.99, and I just have to pay. I could just pay for this pass, and I could, especially when Gears of War comes out. You know, for a bunch of people are going to go back into the old games. You paying $10 or paying $60 for the whole year, and getting all the Gears of War series that you could go through right before you could play Gears of War 5, which is going to be included into the pass.
But then, go ahead.
Sorry, I mean, literally what you're saying is what I did, and was thankful for it. I didn't buy Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
I just waited for it to launch, and I had the Game Pass, and I went, oh, okay, this is what this is. This is cool. And I could make the decision there. So there's value there, right? Yeah. Some may say it would have been better for the studio to have gotten my $60, even if I didn't fully enjoy the game as much as I thought I was going to. Or it's better for the consumer to say, I tried this out. Microsoft is getting money anyway because it's a first-party published game. Yeah. So they're not getting a full 60. But then again, after, 6 months, they did get it anyway because I'm subscribed.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying Microsoft has a problem. Like, on the contrary, I'm saying Microsoft is the smart one because they're a first party who's partnered with not only their own studios, but that pass lets you play other games from other studios.
Correct.
My problem with this whole thing as a whole is that this seems to me that if all the AAA studios begin running a pass, then the tally starts to add up.
No, of course.
Over time, especially if you do buy games. If you don't buy games, there is no downside.
No,
there is no downside. But to people who buy games, it's gonna become complete oversaturation.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
And like I'd say EA and Ubisoft has to kind of follow suit in what Microsoft is doing. Like how how big their library is, how much content they're always giving content. Like every month you see like about 5 new games on there. And like things like that. I don't think Ubisoft has enough games to be doing that.
Maybe. But I just want to say, like, the reason I think it's inherently going to end up being a problem is because at the end of the day, yes, you will not be buying as many games to own. You know, you will have your digital license where you can play it anytime you want. But at the end of the day, how many services are you willing to pay for as the tally adds up?
Yeah,
exactly. Some people say, so cord pullers, right? We're cord pullers. Most of us don't have cable. We don't have cable boxes. We have internet, but we don't have cable boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, look at that. We're saving. But then I have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Plus. Me specifically have Crunchyroll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at $10 a piece,
up to around the price.
At the end of the day, you're still equaling what would have been a television package,
but on the
with a deal.
But on the flip side of that is it's an order of magnitude of convenience better because I'm getting directly what I want from each one of those things. Content that I actually like. There's definitely in each one of those a ton of content that I don't care for, but there are something there of value for each one of those things and why I have them. Yeah. So, it becomes important of what's important to you. What do you want out of it? Yeah. And I agree, because like I said, already in the digital video speed, that's the problem, oversaturation, and we're getting the new one, the Disney. So what I'm afraid of is what Disney's already going to be doing. Like Disney's going to, after they go live, pulls their content from everywhere, right? So you no longer get your stuff on, your Disney movies on Netflix or wherever else there is. They pull their content. So I feel that way is that's the more scary part about this for video games is, all right, Game Pass, Ubi pulls all this stuff from Xbox Game Pass. Anything that they had there, they pull it because no, you come to us now.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So when you lose, when you're already paying for a service and someone yanks the thing you want from it, like on VRV, I didn't until someone just told me recently because I wasn't paying attention. Someone said, "Hey, can I go watch this thing?" Oh, you can watch this thing. Funimation's on VRV. It's like, nah, that hasn't been there for a while. And Funimation has started its own streaming service and pulled its channel from VRV.
Yeah.
So their entire library they pulled out of that station that I was already paying for. So now I'm no longer have it. I don't like Funimation enough to just go specifically pay for them. It's like you were a great part of the package. Yeah. As an option, so it's like same thing with the video games. Like as everyone goes to do it, and all the stores become anemic because of it. You get what I mean?
It ends up back to what my main issue is though is that yes, there's a bounty of choice, right? There's so much choice, but at the end of the day is that. Do you really save more when you're subscribed to so many when there's only so many hours of the day to consume the content?
Agreed.
Because a video game is not the same as a movie, which is or even a show, which you can watch over a long period of time. A video game is like you want to get your worth because the whole point of doing it is not necessarily to test everything to see if you like it. It's more or less I'm subscribing to this because I like these guys' products, so I'm going to take their stuff. So this is assuming I'm going to play the games to completion. But if I'm doing it on your service, and then I'm doing it on your service,
right?
And then your homeboy says, "Yo, this model is good," and I'm doing it on your service, and I'm doing it on this guy's service because each individual third party wants to start doing it. How much are you saving each month? Is like you end up paying like maybe you buy a game a month, and that's like. So what? You think about a game a month, that's 12 a year. That's if you go by 60 times 12, that's probably like 700. No, that's a lot of money. It's like 500 something like that, 600 something. Now, you save when you reduce it to like $10 a month, $12 a month. But some of these aren't even that cheap out the gate.
Not at all. So like you said, if you add it up,
it's like
multiple services will say you're buying the price of one game plus games you actually want to own. So let's say you're buying physical games and you have 5 services. So you're paying $120, maybe $300 a month on video games that you're only playing a fraction of them because you can't play them all. There's not enough hours of the day unless you're a niche case where that's all you do. You get to just sit home and play video games.
Like if you were, this is excellent for a streamer, for a content creator. Like yes, it is a good thing for that. But at the same time, does anybody not want to own a game anymore? And I don't think that's the case because as soon as you purchase a game, you've already inflated the price of the savings. This only saves you money if you don't buy games.
Right.
Because if you do it in conjunction with it, you still that one game is as much as like three to 4 months of a service already.
Right.
And at the end of the year, your total will probably be more than if you had just bought one game.
So my answer is Steam Summer Sale.
You right.
That is my answer to this whole situation. It's Steam Summer Sale.
PC Master Race is the future. Did you see that? Did you see that monster box?
The monster box?
I forgot what it was called. I think it was called the Origin. I think it was that thing that had a viral video. Shout out to the homie Dr. Snipe who sent me the video. That thing that had 3 systems in it.
The Orion Big O.
Yes, thank you. There we go.
That's what it's called the Big O that had a PC, full on high end. Like that PC by itself would have been like 5 to 10, upwards of close to 10 grand just for that config. The fucking Titan X inside of it is $3 grand by itself, just the graphics card.
Yes.
And then the motherboard and the 64 gigs of RAM. That price just goes up. And then they slap an Xbox One X and a PS4 Pro, all custom made, water cooled. Inside this box, also a slot in the front where you open up to slide a Nintendo Switch into. All built in.
And it has a cool ass was a HDMI switch for it.
Yeah, it has a full 4K HDMI switcher in the PC built in, so you can do the one HDMI out to the television, and from the PC with the remote, you can switch to whichever thing you feel like playing. Also, during the unbox therapy video, shout out to them. He shows you that you can actually just have each HDMI go out to different things. Like someone could be sitting there playing the PC on Overwatch, and someone else with the HDMI going onto a TV could be playing Spider-Man on the PS4, and they all run at the same time. So if you wanted to, I thought it was genius how they did the Switch thing, where they made a slot so you could slot it in the docket and still take it out. Because if you have a Switch, what's the point of having a Switch if it was built into the PC and you couldn't take it out? So it made perfect sense how they worked that out. I thought it was amazing. Thing is a beast. It's called the Big O, which makes perfect sense. It's humongous.
Now,
amazing.
With that thing shown off, it basically really does just beg the question. Like, at the end of the day, will it still be worth it when these things are like consumer level cheap, quote unquote? Because I don't know. It's just like, it really just seems like each individual system could be like a high-end something, like a video card or the XYZ. I mean, like, at the end of the day, the only thing you lose is the exclusives, and you ask yourself, are those enough to make me? But when Microsoft is basically solving that problem, you eliminate one of the factors from that equation automatically, where you don't have to ask yourself, do I want to? Because they'll be on PC. And it's just like...
Agreed. I kind of feel like the next console, like the fact that he's still doing a full console, I thought it makes sense. Let me stop stammering over myself. It makes sense for what they're doing. It makes sense that Microsoft's still doing a proprietary console. The Xbox brand is a thing, and it makes sense. But I felt like in all their actions, the things that they're doing, it seems that they're getting closer and closer to that. And it seems like what they wanted to do is that seamlessness. It's like you play it like the Xbox overlay on PC that I have here. You just hit the Windows and the G button. It brings up Xbox Live. And I like it better here, the way it's set up on the PC, than the way I like it on the actual Xbox. It's intuitive and faster, but then again, there's reasons for that. It's because a PC can do all that. I got a PC, I got full 16 gigs of high speed RAM sitting in there. It's different than what the console actually has. So, there's a reason you can do more here. But I feel like the PC, I feel like Xbox Live is still the best service out of all of the three services, major services, PSN and Nintendo, I guess Net, whatever it's called.
Hands down.
Like, I really believe, I wish that rumor were true that Nintendo was looking into Xbox. Hey, listen, we just want to use Xbox Live. I was like, that sounds amazing. Pay the license, get the infrastructure and the network already there. Pfft, Bob's your uncle. People are still going to buy. People may buy more Switches because now online works better. I can just do regular ass talk to my friends and friend list, and you know what I mean? If they just incorporated that, I feel like they could probably sell more of their console, meaning more money directly into Nintendo by adding that service. So it's like, you're not giving up anything, Nintendo, for this. You know what I mean? I feel like there's more to gain than to lose for them. You know what I mean? Since they've just had a trouble with this whole time. I didn't know their whole networking thing for the most part has always been like an outsourced thing. It's never been an in-house thing. They always go, well, we don't know how to do this. We're going to hire these guys to do it.
They do not believe in the power of the internet.
And I get it, right? Because they're old school, and for the most part, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They make amazing couch co-op games. You know what I mean? They make at-home things, and they feel like their mobile games are what the mobile game is. It's like you play this game, you on the go. I feel like they still believe their mobile games is still back in the day where you want to plug a wire into, like, you got to get a link cable because you got to go sit with somebody.
I only say it's ain't broke till you make people pay for it. Then you better fix it.
Right. So that's what they did with the Switch, right? It's like, hey,
and that's what they need to do. Is they need to fix that shit, because the phone thing. Please tell me they have a chat thing now in game.
I don't think so.
They don't have a universal.
No, not really.
No. It's easier to friend people now.
Yeah.
Like, I think they fixed that.
Okay.
What as for as in linking up, I'm not sure. I think it's still game dependent. I think it depends on the game.
Yeah.
Is it codes? Still code derived?
Yeah. But you can find them now by name as well.
Okay.
Like,
You don't always need the
it's
code.
weird. Like as simple as, hey, I'm playing this game with somebody.
Because
That was fun. I want to join them now, even though they're not my friends. I should click on their name, invite, blah blah blah. You know, none of that. You know, none of that's still a reality on the Switch.
I've been hearing horror stories of people trying their hardest to love Mario Maker 2, but just the inadequacies with their online system is just making it a nightmare.
Yeah. They need to really get an overhaul on their online system. The only thing I like about it that I get out of is the fucking NES games they give for free.
Okay.
But other than that, like, yeah, the online interface is pretty terrible. Honestly, they should have had this really and well going when Splatoon 2 came out.
So that's. I'm glad you bring that up because that's exactly where I was going with this. What happened to streaming is popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that Splatoon is a candidate for team-based, squad-based, awesome action of the silly and kiddie variety. It makes the game no less awesome and technical and a bit and good for people to learn, to have easy to get into but hard to master. You get what I mean? To rank up. So it's like, I feel like that game was killed because of this infrastructure. Let's be clear, a lot of people play it, but I think a lot more people would have if you could just have straight up voice chat.
Yeah.
See, here's the weird thing that the Wii U had a weird community, right? But they made a space for that community within the game with the Miiverse,
right?
Like, well, not the Wiiverse. Excuse. Well, no.
It was the Miiverse.
It was, yeah, because they changed it from one to the second one. I forget about that.
Yeah.
But the community of each game, they kind of huddled in there and they had the little groups and stuff and whatnot. Now, maybe the only thing they needed to really do was upgrade that infrastructure for the chat function and whatnot. And it just seems weird that they went whole cloth and got rid of that completely and for nothing.
Right, to the point where the headphone jack on the Switch just doesn't even have a mic port. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have the port thing. It just doesn't. It just doesn't have. So, like, understand how much that wasn't a consideration. But just understand that. It's it just did not have it. It just doesn't have a mic port. It just didn't have it. And it's like, that's not even it's such a little thing where you didn't even save money by doing that. You get it? What I mean? That wasn't a cost-cutting fact. It took up no additional space. It's an additional ring and circuit on this. You know what I mean? It's like, so I just don't. But I get it, right? What is their thing? It's about protecting the kids. They don't want toxic people. But then the truth of the matter is, there's one game that just works. Fortnite.
Okay.
You know what? I'm so wrong. Now that I just realized that, I'm very wrong.
What's that?
I'm very, very wrong. That headphone jack does have a mic port. So now I'm confused because I remember seeing my son play Fortnite and I could hear the other players through his speakers on that game.
Do you think there's like a third party accessory that the other people use on the regular?
Well, he might just be playing with people on console because remember the cross-platform.
It's cross-platform.
This
is true.
So you could be playing with somebody on Xbox, on PS4, and on PC.
That's true.
I'm gonna look up that thing again.
Oh, it has voice chat.
But I'm pretty
thank
sure
God there's no
full voice chat on that. So I think it's Nintendo only first party stuff that has these issues. Now I'm thinking that's what the issue because I think Fortnite because I'm like literally
you said it. It's game dependent, right? So yeah,
game dependent. You're right. So there you go. So Splatoon, there's no voice chat, just not there. There's no voice chat and there's no actual chat. So it's like, all right.
And I think that's one of the main issues.
So when I saw the release of the Switch, you know, the preview, and they show these glamorous shots of the Switch and Splatoon being played in the studio in the whole league, it's like, I believe that game could produce that kind of fanfare, just like Overwatch. But I don't think you guys didn't do it because in order to get that kind of fanfare, yes, you get a niche group of people who will meet up all the time and practice together but that kind of community is built worldwide where everyone can play together over a stable net, you know what I mean? Stable-ish network enabled that works well, that these things can be done. And the ability to communicate. But then people can go, well, you can always use Discord. I mean, I guess.
But the cool thing
nobody wants to have to use other shit.
Third thing, right?
Chat. It should always be enabled in the game. Like this is the thing that always had plagued Nintendo is the fact that they've always been behind when it comes to a lot of things, and it's still in their old ways, and it still goes in because they just started a full online service and actually charging this time around. So now, when you're taking my money, then I expect a lot better than what you're giving me.
You're right. But it's just like, I just wonder why. Why when it's like it's been a slow, steady climb since the Wii. Sure, they had the step back of the system, the Wii U failing, but the little things that they didn't take are the things that make me go, what? Like, it's apparently there's something really special about that stylus. It turns out that's a funny thing. It's like, it's a little thing. Turns out that stylus with the screen is like something they could have carried over because it was easy, apparently. Yeah. Right? It's just like, why didn't they? Well, I don't know. They just didn't want to. But turns out it wouldn't have cost them that much money. And the same thing with the Wiiverse. It's like, the Miiverse, excuse me. It's like, why didn't you carry over that infrastructure, that type of infrastructure for the next generation? You're going to have communities. Yeah,
Nintendo usually try to like go back into the drawing board when they bring a new system out.
No, but I was saying from the Wii,
so even
they made it, and then to the next one, it showed like improvement.
Yeah, they made the Mii's there, and they made the Mii World, which was a bit different than what they did on the Wii. Like, they actually made it more interactive with the Mii's. Remember, like, all the damn Mii's came on the screen and shit?
It was better. Yeah. It became better, and I'm like, why did they go backwards?
Why did it just go away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like, the whole Miiverse thing just go away. I don't know. It's interesting and weird at the same time. It's like, it's weird. We get into the same thing with companies doing weird things moving forward with Nintendo. I know you heard about the whole craziness with the Pokemon. What is it? No, what's the new one called?
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
No.
Just the controversy about the game and what they're going on about why they can't have all the Pokemon in it, and they go on record as saying because the resolution and the assets, and just come to find out it's like you guys are just up-resing the 3DS game is almost the same game. And the reason the community keeps responding to their answers back at them saying you're full of crap.
Yes.
What development is for this game is like you guys are lying. Like the team. So here it is. Like one of the podcasts I listened to saying that it's a situation with the studio making that game has been making Pokemon for 20 years.
Okay.
And they've been making Pokemon for 20 years on handheld consoles, right?
Yeah.
They haven't had because it's not on PS4. There's no Xbox, not Xbox 360, Xbox. They haven't had to change their infrastructure or anything to address something of the caliber of the Switch, and having to make the presentation for that game the way it is. They've been having to do minute and interesting changes to the game and pushing them out annually for the 3DS, and as long as it's been out. Whereas they just don't believe the studio has the capability of producing the game of the caliber necessary for the console they're putting it out for. So when they say they can't do this, I don't believe that they know how to do it. And if they do know how to do it, the game needs to take the time to do it, and they're under a constraint where they cannot. Right? This game has to come out. It has to come out annually, come hell or high water, even if the team who's creating it is not versed enough to produce what needs to be produced. Like the game we're getting literally looks it's just an barely up-res version of a 3DS game.
You know what I think that lacks of? The lacks of community outreach. Right. Because I think if they had started taking feedback, which again is something I think Nintendo is very like game dependent, because Smash does.
Right.
Smash does have in Japan. Those characters are very much influenced by Japanese character charts. I don't know if they give a shit about America when it comes to those charts,
Gotcha.
But like legitimately, why do you think there's so many Fire Emblem characters in that game? Japan loves Fire Emblem, and they are vocal about it, and they follow that. My thing is, they don't listen to fans when it comes to. I don't want to say it like that, but it's basically like innovation, because the fans aren't devs, and Nintendo's very stubborn, and it's like you don't know what you're talking about type of thing.
You want to know what Nintendo was like? They're like New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, Moxie he's gonna make them learn.
But again, But that's exactly what it is. Smash Brothers is John Moxley right now. He's the popular one that has Japanese influence and shit like that. But in the end of the day, they still go back into their old ways.
Yes.
Like the coolest Pokemon games I've seen that that differed from the norm are the 2 games that are just not Pokemon games. They're just which were Pokemon Stadium and Pokken Fighters.
Yeah, Pokken Fighters is pretty good.
Yeah. Pokken Fighters, like someone put some work.
But those were also Pokken Fire was in Game Freak.
It wasn't developed by them. Also, technically, Smash Brothers wasn't either because the fighting engine was done by Namco.
Yeah.
Also, I think that same team that did Pokken. So like,
then I guess there's my answer, right?
Yeah, and then
you need next gen Pokemon. You need the next gen team.
Yeah.
You let the team that's continually doing the 3DS mobile version.
But here's my thing to call that team out, the Pokemon team.
Right.
Was a Pokemon company. Call them. That's the name of the team, the Pokemon company. Call them out on their bullshit because they make the absolute most money.
Yes, and that's
Pokemon outsells everything.
And that's what the big problem is as well.
And
you can't
they don't spend that like. It has to go all into marketing, doesn't it? It has to, because it cannot be going into development because it doesn't look like
it doesn't have to.
We're the innovations.
You know what? It doesn't really have to. It has the Pokemon name. They know that's the thing. I think the company that does Pokemon kind of got complacent.
That's what was being said.
But that's what I mean. That's what the whole not listening to the fans thing is. Just they want to do their own thing in their own pace. Like
it's a Pokemon game. They're gonna buy it anyway. So
it's like the things that are
it's like McMahon and Raw
on the Switch.
Yeah,
that game could possibly be doing, and it's just not going to do any of it. Like I look at what the Switch is capable of. It plays AAA titles from other consoles currently. You know what I mean? It's at a slower spec, but it plays them. And then I look at the first party stuff Nintendo that plays amazing. It looks great, like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. And I'm like, these games
Odyssey was so good.
Utilize this system and looks amazing. Playing Bayonetta on it, playing Bayonetta 2 on it. I'm like,
but remember, it's team
Pokemon.
Team dependent. It's team dependent, and there needs to be a mandate from Nintendo about like community outreach. Because you know what, Bayonetta, they didn't have to do that. They put those costumes in that game. They didn't have to. They really didn't.
Nope.
I think they went through and put like not just costumes, but actual, straight up work into it. Shout outs to Wooly Versus going through Bayonetta.
Yeah, man. I just saw that up there. Yeah, man.
But like, there's a difference when there's people who care about the fans that, are playing their games on a certain level. Yes, I get the Pokemon company probably has tons of events and tons of things in this and that. But when the fans are sitting there yelling at you, we don't like this. We don't like how this looks anymore. We know you can do better. Please listen to us. We don't want this anymore.
Right.
It's time for a change.
Then don't buy it. That's the way you answer.
Well, listen, I haven't played a Pokemon game since like Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, that's the way you have to respond. Because look at Pikachu, and Go Eevee. They were probably one of the worst selling Pokemon games.
Pokemon game I bought for myself was yellow with my Game Boy. That was stolen, and that was the last ever Pokemon game I bought for myself. I have bought Pokemon games for the children.
Yes.
Didn't you buy the was it Black 2?
I'm sorry, what?
Black 2?
Black 2?
Wasn't Pokemon Black? No, it was for Monster Hunter. That's when you bought the 3DS. I'm trying to think where you bought the 3DS.
What I bought the 3DS for was Monster Hunter, yeah.
No, but you really think about like how they're doing the Pokemon game. They honestly, what I saw from it, I didn't like it. Like I was like, yeah, it looks like the 3DS one. Exactly, it looks same model, same everything. And then Pokemon Eevee, Pikachu Go and Eevee Go looks exactly like the same shit too. Which, again, and then you also got to realize that every single Pokemon you ever played were the same fucking game, just different Pokemon and different color on the title screen.
Now.
Every single
different regions and
every single Pokemon game was the same. You fight 5 fucking bosses, the elite, whatever they call. They have different names. There's a Team Rocket somewhere. It's probably Team Saturn or Team Jupiter, where the fuck their names are. It's the same game every single freaking time.
Okay. You're right, But did you know that supposedly, I think it was like from a Did You Know gaming video that Red, I believe, what's the first game you fight him in? As Red.
With Giovanni?
No, it's not the first game.
Yeah.
I think it was Gold and Silver that Red was supposed to be more of a major character, and it was supposed to essentially change some story aspects of the game. I guess technically give the game a real story. You know what I mean? Except hey, you're a kid that's walking alone in the world, fighting animals with animals. So I guess they were going to, but I don't know why they dropped it. But
one was the same game. So when the fan base is complaining about the game not like that, is the reason why, because they played the same game for like 20 years of the same exact game, just different titles.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah.
So I will not be buying Pokemon.
I want to be the very best.
Listen, no one ever was. Okay, I don't know what they told you. Nobody's done it.
I'm saying the best thing I've seen off of Pokemon recently is Detective Pikachu. Watch that movie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I still need to go see
it. Was hilarious.
Actually as well.
Things on my list.
But I would say, interestingly enough, one of the more good spin-offs was the Detective Pikachu games. Apparently,
I'm sure
they had him in. Was it Professor Layton in Detective Pikachu? Yes. Like those were actually like.
But again, that's a game that wasn't done by Game Freaks either. The Pokemon games that feel different and play different are all made from non-Game Freak.
You mean like Niantic, who did Pokemon Go?
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
But again, talking about the Nintendo got to catch up with the whole voice. You know what? Splatoon is, I think, it's just the perfect game. I feel like Splatoon should have a bigger base, especially when it comes to like the game tournaments and shit like that. I think that game, especially for the younger crowds, could be a big thing in the gaming tournaments and stuff like that. But I think if they fix that voice chat and actually make it more easy to use without having to use your cell phone to call people and shit, it'd be a great thing.
Yes.
Shout out to Splatoon having its final Splatfest, Chaos versus Order.
Yeah.
Now, what does this lead into? Because I saw the day of. Now, mind you, I don't have the game on Switch, but it was trending like crazy on that last day, and all I saw was Splatoon 3. Now, what do you know what that was about?
Splatoon 3.
Because there was no announcement from Nintendo.
No, but
all I saw was people saying Splatoon 3, Splatoon 3. Like, what's going on?
They're just inferring because you had the final one, which was final Splatfest for the first game.
Do you know if there was like a hint drop or anything? Like, did you get to play it? Like, I didn't get to. I'm in the dark on it, so like I'm just wondering why so many people. Like, it was literally thousands of people.
I really wish I put more time into Splatoon. Splatoon was such a fun game. And I had time, like me and Jenkins played together and stuff like that, and I thought I had a good time playing it. It's just that after a while, it's just like I lost track of things. This is something that you had to constantly like.
Well, you go and do other things, and it has a ranking system, and it had a lot of stuff to grind out inside. There was a lot of costumes, weapons to get. They were nothing but great about updating that game. Every week you get a new update. There's new weapons. There's new clothes. That game got tons of love from the developer, so that's one thing too. Is like they had I think 2 expansions too. They had the subway thing and then another thing.
You got to also realize the people that did Jet Set Radio is the people that are behind Splatoon.
Oh, the original team.
Yeah, those are the people that did Splatoon. They the ones that they mix. Honestly, if you look at how the ink works and shit like that, is all from Jet Set Radio.
Gotcha. If only the guy did the soundtrack.
It actually has a pretty good soundtrack though. It's like great poppy songs, but it's a good soundtrack. I like Splatoon. I wish it had more. Again, I wish it got more of a game, as in you had the voice chat and everything. I wish it got the Call of Duty treatment.
Which one?
Like just a Call of Duty treatment. Has voice act, has plans, has all that. I think it's a great game that you could have all these things and still have the fun out of what's Splatoon. I think it should have had that treatment because I think Splatoon could have been bigger on the Switch, even though it's a popular game on the Switch. But I think it could have been bigger on the Switch.
Definitely. So
Gotcha.
it's like, they, like I said, they ended new content with the end of the Splatfest. There'll be no more new content at this point. But the online servers will continue there. So you can only imagine that it's the same thing that happened with the first one and wound down, and then whoop, there's the next game. So there's no reason for them not to do another game. So I think Splatoon sells well.
Oh, yeah, it sells really well.
Fan base for them. It just makes me sad. I feel like the online issue with the game is what I feel like killed their other game that got into a spin, turning a genre on its head and making something everyone else would make super violent or hyper violent and making it cool, which was what was it their fighting game they made?
Oh,
Arms.
Yes.
I think Arms was amazing. I think Arms looks great, but I feel like the online killed it.
Yeah.
I think I might, I think there were some balancing issues that needed to go on too. Some stuff was spammable, some stuff was, what I mean? It's a fighting game, so you take time and you need to balance these characters. They added new characters, so it's like, I think that game is super fun, but I guess that game is super fun on couch co-op. You know what I mean? When everyone there, it was fun. I think Arms was cool. I think the concepts were amazing. It was technical. It took skill. Like the combinations of ours and how you can mix things up. Like the game had substance. It was no just surface level thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But I'm like, what happened to that?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody talks about Arms. Only every time I heard about Arms was someone released a new character, and then depending on if she was a looker or not.
Yeah. I like the game. I picked it up from cheap. That was like the first Nintendo game I ever sold discounted. Discounting, like a good discount too, not just like a $5 off. No, it was a good $30. I was like, okay, I'll get it. It's really rare seeing a $30 Nintendo game, unless they made it like a greatest hits.
Hey,
now what's the price point for most games for Nintendo? What are they? 50, 60?
$6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're full retail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what it is, which makes sense.
No, it doesn't. The Wii had a different price point.
Yeah,
that resolution.
It costs so much to make those cards, though. It costs them.
No.
You remember that was what the state was.
Well, listen, there's a lot of no. I'm not gonna argue. There's a lot of memory on them. There's a lot of memory.
It costs money to make them cards, man. You know what I mean? Sure, they could have just used SD cards, but whatever.
Oh shit!
I got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
All right, how's that?
I wanted to pick that up. I haven't done it yet.
It's a fun game. It's very similar to the older ones. My only gripe, I have a couple gripes with it actually. My gripe with it is one, the character interactions. It doesn't have it. So you remember when Deadpool has certain voices talks. He talks to certain people and he actually has a full conversation. Mm-hmm. I wish that was there. It's not really there.
That's not there.
I wish there was a bit more strategy into the 4-player thing. Like you could control them more. There's not much control on how you use your moves and everything like that, kind of like the old Marvel Ultimate Alliance. The storyline is actually quite good. I'm actually enjoying the story and how they're building everything. But I think it's also in a place of half movie, half the comic book universe. So sometimes certain characters get you confused on why they are like that kind of thing. But so far so good. Right now I'm at the Dormammu. Dumumu. Dumumu. That's what Spider-Man calls him. Dumumu. Yeah, so I think it has a good range of characters. The only thing I don't like about the characters, they all kind of seem similar to each other. I think in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1, they made sure everyone felt a little different. And I think this one is very repetitive with a lot of the characters. Like, when you threw the shield, it felt different than throwing the hammer. That's something I liked about the first one.
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
But other than that, it's a fun game. I won't buy it for $60. I got a big discount on this, so I only ended up paying $20 for it. But I will wait for a sale and get it. I won't pay. I say it's not worth a $60 game. It's worth maybe a $30, $40 game because it's something easy to pick up. It's something that's gonna take time, so it's something to play when you're bored and shit like that. But it's not the best game, but it's a fun game.
I didn't know. I didn't know who made it. Then I found out. Team Ninja.
Yeah.
So that has a little bit to say about its nature, like maybe why it is the way it is, the things that you may not like about it. So yeah,
I feel like because
they didn't do the strategy, they didn't do it. It was like the first two mainly the first one was more towards the RPG, that overhead strategy stuff.
And that's why the first one was such a better game. That's
Yeah.
X-Men Legends and X-Men Legends 1 and 2,
Yes.
because that was Raven's studio.
And they had that DNA. They knew what they were doing of that style. This one is.
I would like an updated version of that game.
I've been watching one of the YouTubes I watched. They were playing through it on the harder difficulties and stuff, trying to grind out some of the there's these little things that give you like stat boost and whatever, or the stat boost and all types of stuff. So it kind of changes up the gameplay a little bit, but even they were saying you're kind of just going through. It's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same all the way through. Once you get all your characters' moves, there's not much evolution there.
Yeah, and I think that's something that the Raven Studios one brought up, because they like you're still building your characters, because like level 30 you'll get a new suit, and level 50 you got a new suit. And
yeah, somebody was saying in front of many costumes.
Yeah, it gave you a progression throughout the series. This one only has one costume per person,
and there's no unlocks to be seen. No unlocks to be seen though.
No, most of the unlocking is more of you going through the game and going through the story, and then they unlock.
Wow.
They kind of have like a sitcom-ish like interaction, like you see Loki, and then like little Loki.
I just want to know where Merc gets his all these discounts. I feel like he's following trucks and things are falling off. Is all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is, I had a $20 off from Best Buy, then plus the 20% off I got for the game.
Must be nice.
Man. That's how you see. That's how you pay that money.
That's how you do it. But keep it on.
That's why I tell people use my discount, so I get the damn points.
Keep it on this Marvel train.
I get 20% off. You use it. I don't care. And then I get the points.
So keep it on his Marvel train. I'm going to segue over to Marshala Ali.
Oh yeah. We were happy as hell to see.
So I wanted to know how you guys. You might have talked about this already. I apologize if you have.
Not in depth. We just talked about it happened. So
yeah, him being Blade.
Oh yeah.
I'm happy. I know he's a good actor.
Good choice.
I wonder. See, my question is.
Okay.
It's the director, really, though, because we know he's a quality actor.
Yeah.
I wonder what style the Blade is going to be.
So you think they go dark?
I don't know.
Like, not dark as in new brooding Batman, but dark as in more of a horror movie aspect.
You know if it has a rating?
Again,
it's coming
out to 2022.
I don't think the rating is.
That's the main thing, I guess. You got to wait for the rating, because is it going to be R-rated? I don't know. I don't think so.
I think Marvels are actually willing to play around with R-rated movies, so I can see it being R-rated, because again, it's dealing with vampires, you're going to have that blood and all that shit.
Well, I know the legacy of the movie is incredibly violent and bloody,
right?
But I don't know how Disney feels about it. I don't know what their thoughts on it are. Like, they have been.
I think if Disney didn't believe in it, they wouldn't announce it.
No, I mean as a rated R product, though. I don't know how they feel about that.
So Kevin Feige has full control of that. So Disney don't really have a say. They gave Kevin Feige the full control of the MCU, so it's his hands right now. And
but my thing is, like, is that a big deal for anything published under their brand? Are they not publishing these comic movies with R ratings?
No, because they're planning on their TV shows to be not rated.
Really? Okay.
So, like, I know for a fact Hawkeye is going to be unrated.
I mean, I don't.
It's going to be a big of things.
That's a violent bird boy.
But I think
somebody's getting shot.
I think Blade is 2 years from now, anyway. So
it's fine. Yeah, I think all of Phase 5 is 2 years out.
And then
that's the thing.
But I'm just saying, for the sake of conversation, we still have some speculation. That's why.
No, I agree. So, like, I'm excited to see what they do with that.
I like the casting. I think he's a good actor. I think
someone was saying maybe we can get.
He looks like
Snipes in as Whistler.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what? I would like it. I'll still kind of want him to be like a different. Maybe I don't know. It depends on how they. Again, it depends on.
Careful what you say there.
No, I just wouldn't like him to be a fucking they make Wesley like the villain, or they make him an evil vampire that dies and off to the side in passing. Like, I don't like. I'd rather make him a prolific side character, or just don't put him in the movie. I'll take him not being in it.
Yeah.
But don't disrespect him by putting him as a character that dies 5 minutes in.
Right. I agree.
Completely agree. How how it's gonna shape up for Phase 4 is gonna be small. Phase 4 is gonna be a starting point. It's gonna be a small story.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's gonna be Phase 4 is the couple of movies and the TV stuff.
No,
that will set up Phase 5.
It's 4 movies, 4 or 5 movies, and then but then again, all their movies have not been announced because they said there might still be movies in between those movies.
I think the max was speculated 7.
So we're getting Natalie Portman's Thor, right?
That's
we're getting that.
Be part of Phase 5.
That's Phase 5. So that's still 2 years out.
So what I say is going to happen is Eternals is going to be a key point of introducing the Sinestros. And once they fully introduce the Sinestros, you see the characters, they're going to start getting...
Sinestros? Because you said Sinestros, and I'm like, did Sinestro get his own core that I didn't know, Sinestro?
Yeah.
And then he joined Marvel for some reason?
And then it's going to go into Galactus.
That'd be cool if they do.
Wasn't Fantastic Four talked about too?
Yeah, but there's nothing like exactly when. They just announced that it is happening. Same thing with X-Men. Kevin Feige already stated Deadpool will stay under Ryan Reynolds' control.
That's awesome.
So Ryan Reynolds controls that movie. So
he's still he's a writer, right?
Deadpool, he produced and he wrote Deadpool.
That's what I mean. Like as long as he's still like
at the
behind
helm.
Like he could be directed by anybody else, but like if he's writing it, then that's when you know it's gonna have that flair, like his words.
So Deadpool 3 is already kind of announced, but it's more like, yes, Ryan Reynolds is still in control of it. Ryan Reynolds is writing the script, and yes, it's gonna be rated R still.
Okay.
I mean, at this point though, he can have any mutant he wants in it.
Yeah.
I mean.
But then again, I think that's the joke too, because then he can make fun of Disney not giving him all the game characters too.
Oh shit!
Like why? What the?
I would love Deadpool 3. I would love Deadpool 3 to open up with him superimposed and CG'd and put in the background of all the Avengers stuff leading up to the end game. He was just there somewhere, just in the background of everyone.
I was in the back.
I would expect
a chimichanga cart.
It's just
he was
just hilarity.
He was
and like Thanos sitting in the wherever he was, waiting for them to show up to kill him. It's just Deadpool in the background picking fruit.
Yeah,
just
I think that would be a perfect way to do things.
It just to open that up was like, well, this is what was going on. What was Wade doing during all of that? in the shawarma restaurant that he's just in the background washing dishes. He's just in there fighting the chef. Just some nonsense in the background.
I think that would be smart. I think that would be funny to do, and I feel like they have the creativity to do that. So I think that's something that's gonna happen. But Marvel got.
So can I just say, speaking of X-Men Legends, I saw his. I mean, it's Legends. I wish it was. Speaking of Ultimate 3. I saw his part in the early parts.
Yeah.
In the mansion when the Juggernaut busted in.
Yeah, he was cooking. He was making champagne.
That's so stupid. What are those chimichangas or those just tacos?
Tacos. He was making tacos.
He made like 100 tacos. Oh no, like 200 tacos or something. Juggernaut ran through them. And he was like, "I'm gonna destroy you." So what does he do? Does he turn into like an ally or something when that happens?
Yeah. He gets unlocked and you can use him.
Okay, that was funny because I saw the boss battle with the Juggernaut.
Yeah,
he was there, but the player also picked Deadpool, so there were 2 Deadpools in the fight,
which is perfect.
Yeah, pretty.
Something I watched the other day, which I was actually quite disappointed with. Batman Hush.
That was out, right?
The Batman Hush anime came out. I was actually looking forward to it because I actually really liked the storyline. I think if I would have watched it not knowing the storyline, I probably would have enjoyed it. But the fact that I know the storyline, I know how how it got the mystery and the detective work and all that shit that had to go within the show.
Yeah,
do things. It really didn't hit the mark for me, and I was really disappointed with it.
Sorry to hear that, but well, honest DC trick, did you check out? Because I didn't yet, and I want to know if one of you the Harley Quinn series started.
I have not watched it yet. I do have the Disney Universe though, so I'll probably check it out when I can.
Is it on Disney Universe or is it on the DC?
The DC Universe.
DC Universe. Okay.
There's so many fucking.
Yeah. We talked about this.
Talking about Disney Plus. Disney Plus is going to be an added service to Hulu.
Okay, cool. So it'll be like one of those channels.
Yeah, and I heard it's going to be a very cheap price to add it on to. It's going to be like $3 or something like that.
Oh, that's great. So if you already have Hulu, you add Disney.
Because Disney owns like 80% of Hulu.
That makes sense. That's why all their stuff is there.
Yeah, and it's Hulu that's doing their interface for Disney Plus. So
yeah, that's fun. And you can get other things on Hulu too. You can get Showtime and HBO or CBS.
And Veronica Mars is back on there, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah. I have seen it, and I was starting to look at that, like bringing back the memories of the UPN days.
Yeah.
Fucking UPN.
Right after SmackDown.
Hey, did you guys see the trailer for Gemini Man?
Yes, I'm not crazy.
I've seen the advertisements, but I have not seen the actual trailer.
The newest trailer, the trailer 2 is pretty good because it starts off with an old clip. Well, quote unquote, my air quotes here, Will Smith from 1985.
Yeah.
Well, 1989, since it was supposed to be 30 years ago.
Yeah.
From 1989, of him just sitting in it, and it just lets you know how good the fucking CGI, because it looks like fucking Will Smith from 1989. He's like, and he's just standing there with the fucking track lines of the VHS. Yo, this is Will talking to my future self. 30 years in the future, if you should ever make a movie, you should make a movie where you fight yourself, and it's called like Gemini Man. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you. Do you know? Is this based on something? And if so, or if not, is it based on that?
No, the clip, of course, it was just made up for.
Oh, because I was like, if this movie was made up just because he did that, that'd be.
It didn't actually happen. It was just showing. The point of that clip was showing the technology used in this movie, which this trailer was really good at saying, because the director is Ang Lee.
From,
I don't like him either.
I like him.
Well, he's a visionary. That's his thing.
You know, he made that whole movie.
So I was talking to the wife about this because it made me laugh. It's like Will Smith did Gemini Man after being pitched it, because it was funny, because watching the pitch for it, not the pitch for the movie, but watching the trailer explaining the technology they built for this movie. So think 20 years ago, not even 20 years ago, but 10 years ago for Avatar, when James Cameron built and created the technology for that, to film that film. It's the same thing going on for what they did with for this movie Gemini Man. It's like, people won't know how impressive it is until they see it and then understand that this will change the game because of the tech they're building to shoot this film. And it looks impressive. Like, looking at the movie, looking at the trailer, it's like that young ass CGI Will looks fucking phenomenal. We've come a long way.
You know when
of breaking the uncanny valley.
You know when it's supposed to come out?
Soon.
It's in August.
August, right? No, I think it's later than that.
No, it's August.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
That's right around the corner, though. Okay.
It looks good. Will's a good actor, and you can see him.
Give me a general, like, there's a what is?
So he's the gist of it is I think it's got Clive Owen in it as well. He's some kind of soldier. He was cloned, and the clone, the young version of him, was sent after him. They meet and go the whole what the hell, and then now it's a drama and thriller. So now it's to find out why this is happening, convincing the young Will that's like, hey, why are you trying to kill me? Blah blah blah. Why are you this perfect soldier? It's figuring out why this happened, who they are, why they are what they are. Right, and it's an action thriller, so it looks amazing. The direction looks fantastic. The action looks phenomenal. And like I said, the CG looks incredible. It's like, wow, it's one thing to age up a character, but one thing to de-age him and it looked good.
Hey, I thought Michael Douglas looked all right. Man.
Douglas looked good. Who else? Iron Man looked good, and what was that? Avengers, when he de-aged him for that video for the hologram when talking with his dad.
True story.
Robbie Downey Jr. Young Robbie Downey Jr. It's like, it's getting better. And to be able to do a whole film with that, it's incredible. It's like having to do a fight scene with two people who are the same person. It's like, and make it look good and not.
No longer is it. What was that? Or do you remember the Van Damme movie where he was twins? Double Impact. Or Bolo Young at the end.
Oh man.
Again.
Oh man.
But one twin was the cool suave twin, and the other one was the straight out of ballet school twin. It was such a weird movie.
Oh God, it is.
Double Impact.
I just brought it up. Let's just fucking look at this trailer. Oh my God.
I think that's not the one where he was dancing in the bar. I think is that Kickboxer where he's dancing? The classic scene of Jean-Claude Van Damme, like just
dancing, just
wits.
It wasn't Double Impact. It was the other thing.
I think that was Kickboxing.
It was Kickboxing.
Oh my God. Oh, speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme, I would just like to say, because the wrestling babble, we brought up a wrestler named Damian Priest.
Okay.
I have to find a picture to send you, Mark. He so much looks like the main bad guy from Cyborg.
Yes, he does.
Van Damme movie.
Yeah, he does.
So he has like the long, like he has dreads with the big thick shades, and like he almost looks like a cross between Damian Priest and like the guy Damned from Final Fight, the dude with the blonde hair, the big shades with the big smile.
Yeah,
he so much like you got to see that dude. Looks just like him.
Right. Last but not least, The Boys came out on Amazon Prime. It's definitely a great series. Definitely check it out.
Oh my God, The Boys.
So it's based on a comic book that came out a couple of years ago. Pretty much, it's a crazy show. I'm really digging it. It's very over the top and it's very bloody as hell, but it's a fun show. So yeah, definitely check it out.
So The Boys and its narrative is pretty straightforward. It's a tale of these guys getting themselves in an extraordinary situation and trying to figure their way out of it. It is hard to talk about this and not spoil it, but I do say this. The subject matter handled in The Boys is not for the faint of heart. They go there with this situation. What The Boys is as these guys live in a world of superheroes. And these superheroes are being managed and run by a corporation. And it's all the shit and the shenanigans that it would entail for people involved in a situation like that. You know what I mean? What happens when... What happens? What do they do off camera? What do they do when they're not in the limelight of being famous and being loved for being super? You got to remember that these people are people, and then there's a lot to find out. Like The Boys, again, it's a very dark story. If you're going in there looking for happy-go-lucky, you check out now. It is a heavy story, but it's done very well. The direction is fantastic. The acting is great, and the subject matter it's interesting what they touch on and how they touch on it. And I have to just leave it at that until.
So we'll do a special verdict for that show down the road. So when everyone can watch it, we'll have a really full discussion with it because it is something, Mike, that I kind of want you to see before we really discuss it because I think you will really like it.
Oh, yeah, but it's on Amazon. I don't have that.
If anything, I'll give you my name.
I'm about to say, give you his, I'll give you mine, whatever you need.
Yeah. We help each other out. Watch content. So yeah, The Boys came out last week. Well, it started Friday, right?
Yeah, it came out Friday.
And pretty much it got already renewed for second and third season. So you're gonna get a lot of good stuff off of it. Check out the comic book. Check out the graphic novels. They're fucking crazy as crazy as the show itself. Probably even more crazier. It's one of those bloody ass violent comic books that the story is just crazy as fuck. So just definitely check it out. It is real fun. Again, it's on Amazon Prime exclusive. Right now they're actually giving a month for free. So if you haven't signed up, sign up for it. You get a month for free. So right up.
Cool stuff.
Last but not least, we did our Morphicast for Power Rangers Zeo. There's a fun thing that probably come out later on this week. We had a good review. I think it was a very positive review for this time around because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3 sucked. So we have this.
It's terrible. Oh, it's so funny. For the wrong things. It really, I mean, well, no, not for the wrong things because Bulk and Skull are hilarious.
Yeah, Bulk and Skull, like, honestly, watching it now.
I love his voice.
Yeah.
And just in general, the bad guys are pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah,
I would say that in Double Impact, he wore a turtleneck and a jacket for a good part of that movie.
Yeah.
and it was just hot as hell everywhere. And I just did. He had a turtleneck and chain.
Yeah.
Turtleneck and chain. Okay.
Well, all right. You just like something being really hot and stuff. So last Thursday they were filming, I think, for Mr. Robot at my job.
Oh, crazy.
So the scene is supposed to take place in the winter. So it is maybe over. If it's hot outside, it's twice as hot inside the platforms.
Wow.
They had these actors all wearing fucking coats, like winter jackets and shit.
Wow.
And then when you saw them walking back and forth, yo, they sweated all through their shit.
Peace.
Were people running them ice water?
Gary Busey's son was there. We got to meet him, and yeah, they were refilming some things that they did before. They did record a couple months ago. That was during the winter, and the guy that played the lead actor in there was there, and Stan and Christian Slater was there as well.
Okay, good stuff. All right, we can wrap it up. One more thing before we go. Send this to you in the chat. It's hilarious. I just wanted to alert everybody to the impending grasshopper invasion. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
I'm sorry, grasshoppers?
Yeah, yes. Las Vegas, I believe Las Vegas, yeah, is I don't know if it's still, but as of yesterday, it was under grasshopper invasion. Literally, swarms of grasshoppers were all over the place. Like, it looked like something out of the end of the world.
So, shit. Grasshoppers, or what are these? Locusts.
I mean, listen, they're cousins.
Tomato, right?
Yeah, literally. Almost literally. It's scary as hell when you see it.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is.
A cloud of something moving.
Somebody got a picture of the Luxor with the light beaming out of the top of the pyramid with all those bugs. Like, it looks like the end of the world. It's ridiculous because the Luxor is a giant pyramid.
Giant pyramid with a big fucking beam of light on top of it.
But the funniest thing to come out of that, besides all the usual memes, was one local news station. They did a report on it, and you could just tell somebody on that team was having fun.
All I had to do was type in grass into Google, and it comes up.
All you see during this very, very professional and high, professionally produced news broadcast, you see one scene towards the end of the reporter pointing a microphone at a lone grasshopper on the ground and asking him, "When are you going to leave?" Just asking the grasshopper, "When are you going to leave?" And he points the microphone at it. It's just a shot of the grasshopper, and the microphone just peers into the shot. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's so dumb.
Frogs have.
It seems like something that you see on the news on like Wonder Shows, and like it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Like, check that out. That's ridiculous.
Sorry, technical difficulties. But yeah, that's insane. I just typed it into Google, grass, and grasshopper invasion showed up just immediately. Top stories. It looked like it's snowing.
Yeah. It's right. But if you can see it, a 14-second clip.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really, really good. So dumb.
So is there any explanation to this scientifically?
They're migrating from one place to another.
There it is. There's the clip of the fucking
the problem
pyramid.
Is why? That's the problem. I don't know why.
Some microwaves are interfering with the frequencies and killing the bees.
5Gs is coming, and a story I heard about is a woman trying to sue. I forgot who it is that's bringing the 5G towers into her neighborhood, but because they kill people because radiation, and I think her son got sick or something like that. So
speaking of which, the Sprint T-Mobile deal went through. So the new T-Mobile, when they merged, but apparently they had to give up some shit. So they have to give up their subsidiaries like Boost Mobile and all that. It has to be sold off to, I think they say, if it's not Comcast, it's somebody, a Dish. Dish Network is getting these other their subsidiaries so they can branch out, and there can still be competition because two of the big four are becoming one. So there's going to be big three.
What was that?
And they will cover 99% of the country. They will have coverage of when T-Mobile.
That was Mexico.
I bet you we still have shitty servers.
I don't know, man. I don't know. T-Mobile might take over. The new T-Mobile.
I hope so. I hope my discounts. Maybe I get both discounts, so I get a Sprint one too.
Oh shit. Yeah, why not?
All right, well, they coming to get us, guys, so that's going to have to be it.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to the It Gets Better I Swear podcast. Make sure you catch us at all of our many locations on the internet, on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook group. That's all Red Cyclone Inc. We also have SoundCloud, Tumblr, and WordPress. Also Red Cyclone Inc. Mark, where you at?
Follow me on Twitch TV, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, and all Mark the Mic. Also follow our Facebook pages of RedCycloneInc and the Wrestling Babble.
Yes, sir.
Do it.
Mr. Commander Farrell, got anything you want to promote?
No, not particularly. It's just sandwiches. I had a sandwich now. I mean, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah, unfortunately,
That totally
somebody
is.
figured that out. It is.
Totally a sandwich. So that's what I had. And it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Sandwiches. I should get some kind of endorsement somewhere. Let me go on the phone with Subway.
Bring Blimpies back.
Well, they lost their last spokesman. We don't want to talk about that, but
No. We don't speak of that.
Who?
Bring Blimpies back.
God, there was that one Blimpies on 125th Street that I don't even think is
remember.
there no more.
There's a Blimpies right near my sister's house. That made me happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Long
Is it in
Island.
the city?
In Long
Long
Island?
Hmm?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking look for a Blimpies. God damn it.
It was a fucking I got a Blimpie sandwich. I was happy.
Wow.
In 2019, you had a Blimpie sandwich?
Yeah, and I was extremely happy.
Are you okay?
Sandwich.
Very, very happy about that.
He got a sandwich.
I still haven't tried Sonics, but I have tried. I got a Blimpies in Long Island.
Have I had Sonic? I don't think I've had Sonic.
You gotta just
No.
drive.
I wanna try there.
You rent the car and we go to Sonic.
Don't they always
Stuff.
advertise like they have some type of Slurpee, like ice cream or something like that?
Yeah,
Something
Sonic. Yeah. They got
Sonic
like-
Shake. That's what.
Yeah,
it is,
they got a
right?
Sonic Shake. Yeah, that's the thing they do.
Buy me some lactase and
One day we rent a car, we go to a Sonics and make a podcast.
We gotta do this.
I hope they got a good bathroom.
Yeah, we gotta do this Red Cyclone road trip. There's gotta be a thing.
Maybe when we do go to the con you talking about, the one that's like out of state.
Yeah. So we see what's up.
Sounds good.
All
Guys. All right.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. Take it easy, y'all. Peace.
And always remember, follow the Jinkies.
He's right here, and he got a sandwich.
He's not allowed to
Yeah.
have it. You gotta slap
gotta-
out his hand.
Gotta catch me though.
Oh,
He has a bike now, so he's a little faster.
It's got a motor on it.
Yeah,
Just
it
put like a rock.
I don't know, man. Those tires are pretty fat.
they pretty fat tires.
Put a rock. You're like, no.
It's gonna be a guy standing on the back of my bike with a stick with a sandwich dangling in front of me, and I'm pedal trying to get it.
Yes.
Like, you know I don't have to pedal this, right?
I'm just holding the throttle and still not catching the sandwich. Is amazing.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
All right,
So,
y'all.
haters, watch the boys.
Peace.
Let's remix it.